today's technique is going to be a little bit of a tricky motion, but it's pretty cool. I like the visual. It just throws people off. It works off a stall. Now, the stall that we're going to be doing is kind of a side stall like this. It's almost like it's floating in the air. So there's two different kinds of stalls that I can say as we're kind of going upwards. So as we're swinging down, if you imagine that if your nunchuck is a golf club, you kind of if you have a golf club and you're hitting a ball on the ground, most of your force happens down at the very bottom. Boosh, like that, right? It's going to be the same thing except we're using one hand. We're going to put a lot of force in here, but we're going to try to keep, as soon as we swing and create the force, as our chuck starts to go upwards, our right hand is going to reach over and match underneath it. So wherever this tip is where my hand needs to go. So if my chuck is over here, I'm going to swing my hand underneath to create this upward stall. So that's one kind of stall. We're going to do one that's not necessarily as hard. So here's how that works. As we're swinging down, the moment it goes sideways, right, we're just going to kind of float it upwards like this. So what we're doing now is instead of pushing under it, what we're trying to do is match it sideways like this. It's actually a little bit easier, and that's going to be the setup for what we're trying to do. So match it up sideways, mash it up sideways. Now, there's two motions to this. It's not just a straight horizontal motion that we need to do because we have to make clearance. Basically, we're going to try to flick this behind the back of our hand. But when you first start, first see if you can get it horizontally, and then we're going to work on diagonally. Now, when I say horizontally, I mean, as you can tell, my arm is moving in a straight horizontal line. So it's from the right to the left. It's a very straight line this way. But the motion that I'm actually going to use is more diagonal. So if you look, my hand is going to cross kind of over more towards my left shoulder instead of in front of me here. It's going to be coming towards my left shoulder more. This is going to allow me to do a snapback. So once we get this motion, remember we're not going upwards with this one, but definitely know that one because there's a lot of neat little tricks that you can do with that one. We're going to kind of get it horizontally like this, and it's going to be a little bit diagonal. My arm is going to be crossing past my body instead of going straight forward. And once it comes there, what you're going to do is you're going to take your left hand, first you're going to keep it in front of you, and as we have it forward, now we're going to have to learn the flick. Now there's two different flicks. I'm going to show you the first flick to start with, and it's not the flick that we're going to do, but it's usually the easier flick to learn. So the flick is just basically this. The moment it's at its pinnacle and it starts to drop, your right hand flicks it up and you catch the other side. So we go up here, the chuck starts to drop, my hand flicks it up, which causes the other side of the chuck to want to come your direction. Now, as you flick it up, your hand's going to turn the other way and grab it as it comes down. So it looks like this. It can look pretty neat because it almost looks like you're trading positions with the chuck. But we're going to do this flick here, kind of diagonally, and we're going to just see if you can catch the other side. Okay? Once you can do that, we're going to try the other flick now. The other flick is a variation, but first be able to get the upward flick. We're going to do a horizontal flick now, and what happens is the moment it starts to drop now, my hand is going to swing sideways. It's going to cross my body, so it's going to be here, swing. Now, as you notice, it almost looks like a horizontal aerial, horizontal throw, and that's exactly what we want. With our left hand, we're going to see if you can catch it. Here's the trick. As you start swinging this, you're going to think a lot less about this side of the chuck and everything about this side of the chuck. So as I swing it, my eyes and all my energy focuses on how can I get this chuck to swing into my hand. So we're going to let it go horizontal. I'm going to flick it sideways, and I'm going to see if I can just catch it with my hand like this. Here, cross. Here, horizontal, and cross. The only other part to this move is now if you feel comfortable with that kind of cross, you can go behind your back. Now the behind the back takes a little more time, and I don't always do it accurately, but let's just give it a shot, like that. Now again, it's going to be the same thing. When I do the behind the back pass, all my force is focused on this part of the chuck moving down towards my body. The reason why we create a diagonal as opposed to a straight upwards is because as we flick it sideways, if we're doing a straight line as we flick it sideways, it's near impossible to get it back to our hand. But if we shoot it here and we flick it sideways, it actually wants to go right back to where it came from, almost like a boomerang. So here, grab. If you can't do that, that's okay. There's a lot of things you have to practice your behind the back motions. So the beginner move is going to be just flick. Just work on this flick. If you can do that, do the side flick with the other hand. Side flick with the other hand. And then if you can do that, go ahead and go for the goal. Anyways, I have a couple announcements I want to make, so stay tuned. 3 things I want to talk about. This Thursday, we're doing a live stream. I actually had gigs every Thursday for the last 3 weeks, and this is the first week that I'm finally open on a Thursday. So, 7 p.m. CST, we are doing a live stream. Save all your questions, ask away on Thursday. In January, we were doing the Fire Nunchuck Dark Monk giveaway. So we're giving away a free pair of Fire Nunchucks. Not just Fire Nunchucks, Dark Monk Fire Nunchucks. That's happening on Thursday as well. I'll make the announcement. So, one lucky $8 Patreon donor will win. $8 Patreon donors are always included in a giveaway every month. So if you're not included, you still have 2 days before we give away the Dark Monk, so you can still jump on board. And last but not least, the Flowtricks Mega Database is done. This has been a long time in the making. There's over 300 techniques and 600 if you include the labs, which are the explorations of nunchucks. We've basically taken all the moves from YouTube, broken them up into little pieces, added tags and techniques and categories as well as difficulty levels so you can easily figure out what moves you need to learn next. Cost of a cup of coffee, and you have over 300 techniques at your disposal where you can take custom notes, slow motion, mirror, put it into a loop, all that good jazz. I want to thank you guys again. 2018 is going to be a blast. Go down to flowtricks.net, post a video, show me if you can do this killer move, and start sharing with the community. Anyways, I will see you all soon.